Okay, hello, welcome to my third video on wind correction angle. What we're going to do now is do some real world flight planning and see if we can get a better grasp on this whole idea of how we're supposed to work the numbers. So what I have here is I have a sectional of Oklahoma, and we're going to go ahead and plan a flight from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which I believe Richard Lloyd Jones Airport right here, or it may not be Lloyd Jones, but it's Richard Jones, and we'll go to good old Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is right there. Okay, so let's just go ahead and see what we're working with. Well, first thing we're going to want to do is figure out what our true course is. Now, since we have this handy Google Earth tool, which I don't see why you couldn't use this in real life also, we'll go ahead and see that our degrees are not our degrees, but our heading is 278 degrees. So our true course initially is 278 degrees with the distance of basically 54 nautical miles. Now, once we have our true course down, next thing we want to do is figure out what our magnetic heading is. And of course, our magnetic heading is our variation taken into account. So let's look for some isogonic lines. Okay, well, we have one right here, which is our 4 degrees east. And then we have another one right here that we cross, which is our 4.5 degrees. And then we should probably have one last one right here towards the destination, which is 5 degrees east. So how are we going to do this? Normally, I say to pick the isogonic line that you're closest to. But at your destination, or at your departure point, it's 4 degrees east. At your destination, it's 5 degrees east. Well, what I would do in this case is I would use 5 degrees east. Because primarily, or what you could do is you could pick a midway point. You can use this river, for example. When you cross over this river, you can change your variation. So for the first half of your trip, you can use 4 degrees east, and then when you change over the river, you can use 5 degrees east. Primarily, like I said in the last video, your VOR is going to point towards your area of your magnetic north. And since your magnetic north is clockwise to your geographical north, the more you progress away from it, the worse your deviation is going to get. So you always want to use the area of where your worst deviation is. So we do know that you're in this area, you're under the influence of 4 degrees east, basically transforming into areas of 5 degrees east. So you could use 5 degrees east for the entire length of the trip, and you might be okay, but it's better off if you just make it to where you know for a fact that in this area right here, this is primarily 4.5 degrees, and in this area right there, that's 5 degrees. So, but just to keep things simple, I'm just going to make it for 5 degrees. So you subtract 5. So we'll do 278 degrees minus 5 is 273. So our magnetic heading will be 273 degrees. Now we need to figure out what our true heading is. Our true heading, we look on the aviation site, and we'll go back one, and we'll look for OKC, Oklahoma, and there's Tulsa. Let me see, so you'll find a 3-letter identifier, and you'll see at 3,000 feet, or looking at 350 at 46 knots. Alright, so let's go back to it. Pop up our little virtual E6B, pop up our winds. Wind direction is 350, wind speed will be 46 knots, with our true course of 273 degrees. And a true airspeed will compute for 115 knots. And we'll talk more about how you get your true airspeed. And then we'll hit compute. And those are the figures it spits out. Basically, we're going to be going 95 knots. Our true heading will be 296 degrees. And our wind correction angle will be 23 degrees to the right, which is pretty significant. So your wind correction angle at the very end will be 22.9 degrees to the right. So all we do is, if it's to the right, you add. So 273 plus 23 degrees gives you a final wind correction angle of 295 or 296, which is exactly what we have right here. All right, that was pretty good. Let's go ahead and pick another one. Let me jump over to where the weather's really bad. Let's see if I can overlay the weather on this. Yep, just about do anything you want on this program. Alright, so let's just go straight dab into the heart of the storm. And let's just say we were like a hot shot, part 135, and we really had to get this mail over to there. Alright, so let's just say, okay, so let's just say, where are we anyway? I don't even know where I'm at. Alright, let's just say, here's an airport here, which I would not be flying in this weather. And it looks like it's Logan. And we'll be going to Sandy Regional right there. And let me see. It looks like we're about 1,600 feet in the air, 1,200 feet in the air right there. Or not in the air, but the threshold altitude is about 1,600 feet and 1,200 feet. I'll make another video about doing, reading sectionals. But okay, let's go ahead and get started. So our true course is going to be 259 degrees. So let's just go ahead and pop it up on our little calculator. So we got 259 degrees. Our wind correct, our variation is going to be, well, we're west now, so we're going to add it to whatever our true course is. So there's 7 degrees west, and then there is 6 degrees west. So what I'll go ahead and do is, since we're smack dab in this area, and since we're smack dab in that area, I'll just go ahead and use the 7 degrees. So east is least, west is best, so we'll add that. Plus 7 gives us magnetic heading of 266 degrees. Now let's figure out what our wind correction angle is. Well, I have absolutely no idea where I'm at. Let me actually take the sectional off, which is kind of funny because you'd think if you were flying, you would actually know what state you're in. And man, okay, West Virginia to Kentucky. Oh, so we're actually crossing state lines here, which doesn't seem that bad once you get in the air. Okay, so West Virginia to Kentucky. So we'll go to our winds aloft. Hit back. And I believe it's in this area right here. Let's see. Go ahead and check this out real quick. Yeah, West Virginia and Kentucky, and I have absolutely no idea where the identifiers are at. Now, this is, in case you're ever wondering, exactly, and I guess this is a good point to put in. If you're ever wondering where the station identifier is or where the reporting agency is for your particular aircraft that you're in, you can use what's known as a airport facility directory. And we'll go ahead and use this to go to our next video. So let me go ahead and shut it down right now.